understandable that in today's world of infections, we think of all sorts of things with the toilet seat. But in general, I can reassure everyone that's had to quickly sit down there in a rush that you just aren't going to get infections from the toilet seat. It is, you know, the idea that bacteria and viruses, in this case, most sexually transmitted infections tend to be viruses, are going to last that long is just not realistic. So usually whatever's on that toilet seat is going to dry. Now, if you see a wet toilet seat, don't sit on it. But otherwise, don't be that worried. And I do talk in the book about my bladder issues as I've gotten older and how I need to kind of rush to the bathroom. And I've learned the hard way. I had an embarrassing story once where I was like sitting on an airplane and I was trying to squat. Do you know how hard it is to squat? I'm squatting in that little tiny booth room trying to go, and all of a sudden I look and there's the urine I missed going down the floor out of the little door of the airplane. I was mortified. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to have to just sit down on this thing the next time, and that's the end of it.
So are you a big advocate for using the toilet seat covers? I can't believe I just asked that question on television, but I'm really curious.
If they're there, I'll use them. And obviously, if I go into a restroom, do you ever go into a restroom where the woman's line is like long, so that the guy's line, nobody's there? Well, I do that. I'll go and knock on the door, go into the men's room. They're disgusting.
Yes.
There isn't, let's just call it. Women's rooms are never nearly as disgusting as the men's room. I don't think in a men's room I've ever sat on that toilet. But in a woman's room, if it sort of looks dry and I've really had to go desperately, I sometimes sit. I have to confess. I mean, I guess I should be responsible to say if it's obviously wet, theoretically you could transfer something. But we get sexually transmitted infections from sex, not from the toilet seat. Okay,
and we should always reiterate, especially in the season of swine flu, that washing your hands even just after using the bathroom or being in contact with other individuals is probably the best advice of the upcoming season.
Right, it is. I mean, hand washing does two things. First of all, after the bathroom, what you're talking about are intestinal illnesses, intestinal infections primarily. But when you go to the bathroom, you're also touching the doorknob and the sink and all those things that other people have touched with their hands. And we know we're constantly putting our hands to our faces. So hand washing is always a good idea. We can't emphasize that enough under any circumstances.
You know what I like to do is wash my hands, take the paper towels, and then keep one and open the handle, because I feel like I just washed my hands, but if I have to open the door, right, exactly, but whoever's come in and out is, you know, I'm vulnerable to it.
I think that's actually really good advice. We learned this way back when in medical school. When you do that, wash your hands, take that towel, and use that. That's actually a good idea. I think smart, simple things make sense. But
yeah, it's
once
a problem
in a while,
when they have those blowers now and you don't have paper.
I know.
You just put your hands under there. I'm always trying to figure out how to get the door open with my elbow. Okay, a few more questions. We're almost out of time. This one says, quote, is IBS the same as IBD? Maybe you could explain what IBS and IBD are.
Right. All right, they're both in the GI or plumbing chapter, because I talk about internal plumbing. First, I have a whole bladder section, and as you know, I've had my own bladder issues, and most women, and men for that matter, have. But the other chapter is on plumbing when it comes to the bowel. IBD is the more serious condition. It really stands for inflammatory bowel disease. And people have heard the two words, I'm sure, Crohn's disease maybe, or ulcerative colitis. Those are the more serious chronic conditions of the bowel where there's inflammation of the colon or small intestine. Those really require treatment with a specialist, a gastroenterologist. But what is extremely common in women, and women are often embarrassed to talk to their doctors about, is something referred to as IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, where women can, and men, but mostly more often women, can have sort of constipation, diarrhea, feel bloated. They often see, you know, a lot of ads in the newspapers or in magazines for bowel medications. I talk a lot in the book about what are really safe ways that people can take laxatives, and I don't mean stimulant laxatives, healthy fiber substances to help the problem.
What do you think? This is not one of their questions, but mine. What do you think about these so-called colon cleanse programs? Good, bad, thumbs up, thumbs down?
I think in general they're not good, because those colon cleanse programs can actually just kind of irritate your colon to a great degree, and some people that use all the enemas and things, they're really washing out a lot of important minerals and nutrients. I think it's all of what we put into our mouth is the important thing.
Okay, I'm sorry to ask this question with less than 2 minutes, but it's here and it's my last one that we can get in. Should I take hormone replacements? I am 55 and postmenopausal. Kind of condensing that one.
Okay. I will, again, it's such a complicated issue, I do devote a whole chapter because there is no one answer for every woman. But I will say in general that I think hormones got a bad rap. I think that the study that was published that got everyone to suddenly drop their hormones was a study that was looking at older women, 10 years after menopause, majority of them are overweight, not the women who are considering hormones. So let's take a 55-year-old woman who's having severe hot flashes. She can't sleep. Recent research shows hot flashes last a lot longer than we realize. They interfere with sex, the dry vagina, all those miserable things. Hormones in small amounts taken in a safe, most natural way possible can be a good thing for a number of women. And I talk exactly about what those ways are in the book.
Okay, we are at 50 seconds. Best piece of advice that you could give to women and men to maintain their health?
I think I talk about the lifestyle pill in the book. You taking personal responsibility for your own health is so important. Exercise is king. That means walking will do everything. Diet is queen, and having a sense, and that means fruit, vegetables, and healthy fats, and feeling good about yourself, feeling in control of your life. Your doctor's not controlling you. You are controlling your own destiny. Most important.
Great advice, as always. The book is called Ask Dr. Marie. We want to thank her for being here and answering all of your embarrassing questions. I didn't find them to be all that embarrassing at all. You're a great sport. Thank you so much. Wonderful to see you again.
Thanks,
Until
Lynn.
the next time, my thanks to my crew and to you for watching. I'm Lynn Doyle.